This NBA season is already shaping up to be so tough. It just got announced that for the first time since 2009, the NBA is going to bring back that big Larry O'Brien trophy in the middle of the finals court. They're even going to add some of the decals that they had in 2014 last time when the Heat played against the Spurs. Bro, I'm so excited for it. Because imagine if we saw that game winner from Tyrese Halliburton and it had that big ass logo. You might think I'm overreacting, but I'm being dead serious. Do you understand the difference it makes when you're watching the game? You look back 2014 and before. Look back at those games. It's a different environment. Bro, it feels like a finals. If it wasn't because of how good the matchup was last year, you would have thought those games were NBA regular season games. Nothing looked different except for the fake little like hologram finals trophy in the corner of the court. Besides that, it looked so boring. And it's not because the Thunder or the Pacers have a boring court. It's not because they don't have good fans. Because, bro, those arenas were electrifying. But it didn't feel like it. And we watched the games. We know how amazing that final series was. The best one in years. But you're telling me that the reason why they took it out since 2009 is because it could have possibly led to injury? From what I read, it said that some people felt like it was slippery because of the way they put it on. And so they're bringing it back now with a whole different way of doing it. I think they're using specific courts. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I don't care. There was no injuries that were going to be caused by that. And it's going to be so different now. The ambiance, the environment, bro, completely different. And talking outside about the arenas, the decals, Wemby, he was different in the NBA opener. This guy was hitting double clutch reverse dunks after pump faking. He'd fake a shot in the midi, and with one step through, he was already at the rim. He would get a block on one side, dribble up the court, size up Derek Lively in the perimeter like if he's Steph/KD, step back, three-pointer, and one. AD's guarding him, dribble, pump fake, shoot it, and one. Bro, he would just, a plus-minus of 31. A plus-minus of 31. Historical defense. I'm not going to talk too much about stats, but like statistically, this game, net rating, all that stuff, he was in Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain combos, bro. Like that's how good he was defensively. A plus minus of 31. By the way, he played 30 minutes. He did all that in 30 minutes. 40 points. Are you kidding me? Yeah, right. We had a lot of 40 bombs. Giannis, Tyrese Maxey, Anthony Edwards, Luka, players were popping off left and right. It really does feel like the NBA is back. And people complained about the parity before, all this stuff. But bro, I'm just so excited because it feels like every game you watch is a must-watch game. Because a lot of the players that I'm so hyped to see this season are all young players. Because I'm coming back from this offseason as like, I want to see how good these players became. I want to see how better they are now. Thompson, I want to see how good he's going to be this season. Ausar Thompson, him as well. I want to see if Anthony Edwards can really carry that load of the Timberwolves. I want to see how Giannis does with that horrible team. The Hawks, the Magic, the Lakers, the Spurs, the Mavs. We just saw Cooper Flag. He didn't have the best rookie debut. But offensively, and I feel like people overrate his offense, but offensively, he's kind of limited. Not the best on-ball creator. They tried to put him at point guard. He wasn't doing too well. Now, I mean, mind you, he's going against Wemby, who was playing historical defense. But these are the type of questions that I want to see answers. And I can only see them through the games. If it wasn't for the fact that to watch every single game of the NBA season, I have to pay $1,500 over the whole year because of the stupid subscriptions, then I would have watched them all already. But at least I got Amazon Prime and Peacock, and if I'm not mistaken, those are like 6 out of the 7 days. So as long as I can watch that, that's fine. And this might be the season where I watch the Heat the least, because we're at a point where I just don't know what we're going to do. We're going to win maybe 30-something games, or maybe 40 because of how weak the East is, but like, it doesn't really matter. We're not going to get a high pick. We're not going to do good enough to go into like the postseason, so it doesn't matter. But I want to see how Benedict Mathurin does for the Pacers. I don't think they reached an agreement when it comes to like his contract, but his aggressiveness in Game 7 and the finals last season, to me, warrants attention. And I remember when he was a rookie, before the season started, he said, I believe I'm the best player in the league. And if LeBron thinks he's better than me, then he has to come out there and prove it. And of course, LeBron's better. But I like that confidence in himself because you see it when he's out there. He's just not the most efficient. But I do like his play style. And then we move on to like another team that I want to see answers to, like the Warriors, right? Difficult to see how they're gonna end up playing. I mean, they got Al Horford, fits great. Seth Curry, fits great. But they're not big, big names. It's just one of those teams, kind of like Denver Nuggets, where you have someone so good and have a couple pieces around them that are pretty good that, you know, when they play together, they're going to win a lot of games. So when you add a couple role players, like, for example, the Golden State Warriors, Al Horford, Seth Curry, Denver, Cam Johnson, Bruce Brown, you add these players, that it actually does raise them a lot. But then again, you also kind of, you know, you get excited because you see these players, you know how good they are as a whole, as a team. But then you kind of go back to reality and you're like, all right, well, how far? They're in the West, right? And then we just saw Golden State cook the Lakers. But, you know, Lakers didn't have Brown. And I mean, he's a great player, top 10. But it's just, you know, you're still competing with other middle of the table teams. You gotta, I mean, I don't know how I feel against them, against the Timberwolves. And OKC, Houston, the Spurs are going to dominate the West. I mean, the Spurs may not dominate, but the Spurs are going to beat some good teams. And that's what I'm excited to see. How the West plays out. I could care less about the East. Like, besides the fact that VJ Edgecombe's an absolute dog, I don't really care about the East. He's the only person that I'm dying to see because I know he's a great offensive player. We just saw him drop 35 in his rookie debut. And I just can't believe how many rookie debuts have been popping off. But the 76ers have pissed me off as a franchise for the past 3 years. Yet, Jared McCain and VJ Edgecombe has reignited that, like, hope that I have in them because I'm so high on Tyrese Maxey as a player, but something about him being in Philly just doesn't really attract me in any way. And VJ Edgecombe is an absolute dog. And seeing Jared McCain, I had high hopes, but mid expectations for Jared McCain. So when I seen him going crazy like how he did last season, I was excited. But then he keeps getting injured. And it's his second season. He already has like a pinky injury. But VJ Edgecombe, hooping. And I mean hooping. And that's what I want to see how they handle this. Because we saw Joel Embiid out there. And he was not wobbling. But, I mean, he just had a couple surgeries on his knees. He looked kind of scared out there. And I can't blame him. He's been injury prone his whole career. He's said publicly he's not going to be playing back-to-backs. But you're talking about a team that has Paul George on a max. Joel Embiid, I think this season or next season, is going to be on a $70 million salary. Your best players are on rookie deals. So I'm excited to see how they play it because on paper you think, all right, Philly has great players on a max contract and amazing players on rookie contracts. But those good players on the max contract are not playing games at all, and when they're playing, they're not doing that good. So, now what? If I'm Philly, right, if you're looking at it without any feelings, fuck the older guys. But you just gave Paul George that crazy extension. You're paying Joel Embiid $70 million. Like, you can't just move on from that. Yeah, like, the past, decade? You've been going through this process that you've been advertising, promising championships, and you've picked horribly time and time again besides Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe and Jared McCain. And it's just like, man, I'm not going to say you got to hang it up at some point, but if you do want to be serious, you got to let your ego aside. And at some point, you got to be like, all right, I'm going to move on from this core. But to be honest, from GM, I wouldn't be able to put that ego aside. So it's difficult to do. I don't know what they're going to do. They could honestly be a top 3 seed in the East, where they can be as low as playing. I don't think they'd miss the playoffs, but they could be playing. The reason why I don't think they'd miss the playoffs is because of how bad the East is. So, like, you got to be really bad. Philly isn't. They're bad, but it's just, I mean, there's so many other teams that are worse. That it's like VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid. They can take him to a playing spot, bare minimum. But it's just a matter of time before they blow that shit up. But as for the rest of the league, man, I feel like I covered a lot of it. It's just one of those seasons where I've been so excited. Not only am I covering this stuff on social media, but it's more so like, man, what? It's been so long since I've seen such change. And even though it was such a boring off season, because of the fact that Wemby's a monster, because of the fact that KD's probably on the best team he's been on since the Warriors. And I mean fit-wise, because obviously Brooklyn talent-wise was And you have Luka on the Lakers, LeBron with Luka. Like, you have these big names and such crazy things that we're still getting adjusted to, that it's like, man, we're about to see a full season of this.